Sarvasya chakam hridi sannivisto. He sits in every living entity. Okay? And what does he do? Sarvasya chakam hridi sannivisto matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. That means he is the cause, right, for our remembrance, our knowledge, um, whatever we want to be doing activities, right? He is the cause for it. That means he is sitting, hearing you, and making notes to fulfill your desires. That's what the Paramatma does. So we discussed about all those things. Now, after completing all those things, then we went into the detail of each and every anga. And then we talked about all the other planetary systems. So we complete the entire process of Ashtanga Yogi. How he moves the prana chakras, gets it to his forehead, and then Urdhva Pundra, that the soul gets liberated and goes. Pawan Prabhu, the recording has stopped. Huh? Is there a problem or something?
Prabhu, I am recording in YouTube, Prabhuji.
So it means recording is going on.
Yeah.
But it just, I got a message that recording stopped because I'm not seeing the recording symbol also here.
No, Prabhuji, recording is happening in YouTube right now. Whatever you recorded goes to cloud. So I stopped this and I've enabled that, Prabhuji. Live streaming is there.
Okay. Okay, so now we come to the fag end of this particular chapter. So in this particular chapter, in the starting of the chapter also, he talked about importance of the Bhakti Yoga. Tasmat Bharata Sharvatma Bhagavan Ishvara Harihi. So we recited that sloka also where he said, according to one's realization, one would connect with the Supreme Lord. Right? So that also Sukadeva Goswami concluded. Now in sloka number 35, 36, 37, which will end these three within these three slokas, he is going to conclude Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha. He is going to conclude what is the culmination of Bhakti Yoga, what one should do. And by that, he is also answering the question by Parikshita Maharaj in the starting of this chapter. Right? Okay. So let's read 2.35. Now, these three slokas, I'm going to spend a little bit more time and I want you to pay attention because this is a turning point. Why are we having this material existence? What is the cause for this material existence? That will be explained here. And what is the cause for our existence in the material world? And what is the solution for our, relief from this material world? Both will be discussed in these three slokas. It has got a lot of deeper understanding. So if you pay attention, you will get it. And these three slokas. So Radhani Mataji, please note 35, 36, 37. All three slokas we have to mark it up. And 37 sloka is so important that we should always recite the sloka and remember even in our dreams. Sloka number 37. But we'll get to it. Okay? 2.35. Bhagavan Sarva Bhuteshu Lakshita Swatmana Harihi Drishya Buddhi Adibir Drashta Lakshanai Anumapakai. Translation. The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, is in every living being along with the individual soul. Okay? And this fact is perceived and hypothesized in our acts of seeing and taking help from the intelligence. Okay? So that means in our heart, not in our heart alone, in every living entities, every human beings, not just human beings, in every other living entities, be it birds, reptiles, mammals, be it insects, be it a bacteria, wherever it may be, you will see that the personality of Godhead is living along with the soul. If there is no soul, even a bacteria cannot live. Okay? So soul exists even in the smallest element. Along with the soul, always the Paramatma lives. Okay? So this is very important to understand. Okay? Let's read this purport. And at the end of every paragraph of purport, we'll have a shorter explanation. Okay? So someone read the purport.
Hare Krishna. Shall I read, Prabhu?
Yes, read, Prabhu.
Yeah. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. So the general argument of the common man is that since the Lord is not visible to our eyes, How can we either surrender unto him or render transcendental loving service unto him? To such a common man, here is a practical suggestion given by Srila Shukadeva Goswami as to how one can perceive the Supreme Lord by reason and perception. Actually, the Lord is not perceivable by our present materialized senses. But when one is convinced of the presence of the Lord by a practical service attitude, there is a revelation by the Lord's mercy. And such a pure devotee of the Lord can perceive the Lord's presence always and everywhere.
Always and everywhere. Sarvatra Sarvada. Okay. So what does this mean? Lord cannot be seen by us in our material eyes. Okay. Now we will see what is materiality and spirituality in subsequent discussions. But when we say material eyes means eyes which is ignorant about the Lord, an eyes that is forgetfulness about the Lord, an eyes does not know to hear and chant the glories about the Lord. That is called as the eyes, which is material in nature. Okay, so the eyes cannot see the Lord. If I take this tumbler, the eye sees the physical object is a combination of some chemicals and physics, and that's why the tumbler is existing. But what it does not understand is the elements that are used to prepare the tumbler, the glass tumbler, is awarded by nature. It was not created by me. It was awarded by nature by some interaction. The nature is awarded that by the instruction of a person behind who's designing that nature. Okay, so this is an important factor that we need to understand. Then I don't see this glass tumbler as a combination of chemicals or physics. But what I see is, I see a glass tumbler as a product of energy of the Lord in an indirect format. Okay, now you see, my eyes are material, my senses are material, my brain is perceiving material things, and this object is material. But based on my knowledge, based on the mercy of the Lord, if I'm able to perceive that this object is existing, this eyes is perceiving, this intelligence is processing, because man has, then we will understand this is not material, we will see this as spiritual. So, something is material or spiritual is by one's vision and not by the product by which it exists. That is the most important thing. So, hence it says, actually, the Lord is not perceivable by material senses. You cannot see the Lord. You cannot even understand the Lord. But when one is convinced, that means faith. Yes, there is a creator behind. There is a greater intelligence behind all these things. Once we have that faith, how do we develop that faith? By practical service attitude. If you have the attitude to serve others, you begin with serving, you begin with the fact that you want to serve others. When you begin to serve others, you will slowly realize that I am serving a lower entity. Now I want to serve a higher entity. What is a lower entity service? Okay, someone is suffering out of disease. Let me go serve him. It's a lower entity. Oh, there are people in general who are not having enough food to eat. Okay, serving at a lower entity, but at a higher plane, because at a larger scale. So if you keep on going at that plane, then you will see my attitude to serve is not stopping, but I'm serving an entity which is higher and higher in the plane. So when I go to the higher and higher in the plane of transcendence, then I see that Supreme Creator is existing. That is when you will see the Lord reciprocates with me. So hence it says, there is revelation by Lord's mercy. But when I do the service to that Lord, when I've come up the stages and come to the higher stages of Archa Vigraha, and I'm trying to serve that Archa Vigraha, I can serve what? I can serve by holy name. How would I holy name? When I call out his name, when I glorify his position, when I talk about his pastimes, when I serve him, then what happens? That Archa Vigraha is a representation of the Lord. He reciprocates back to me. How does he reciprocate? He reciprocates by revelation. That means he reveals his heart to us. How much he reveals? So, for example, let's say I have a friend. I have two friends. One is a 1-year-old friend, another is a 20-year-old friend. Okay? Now, let's have a conversation with a 1-year friend for about half an hour, and let's have a conversation with a 20-year-old friend for, let's say, another half an hour. Okay? Now, in the first half an hour with this 1-year-old friend, how much do you think he'll talk about his personal details? He may talk only about 5% or maybe 10% because there's still no faith. There's still no relationship bonding between myself and that person. Okay. Now let's go back to the second person who's got a 20 relationship with me or friendship with me. Now I'll have a conversation for 30 minutes. How much he'll reveal about himself? Everything. Because the faith, the relationship has been played the role here. So similarly, in our practice of devotion also, what we connect with the Lord and how much we serve Him, He reciprocates back by revelation. How does He reveal? How does the Lord reveal about Himself? So, for example, the Lord is wearing a peacock feather on His head. How do you know that? Once you've seen that Acharya has told, one book you've read. But is it true or not? You should feel that, right? Is it true or not? You should feel. And that intelligence of yours, that means a knowledge which is coming out, manifesting internally in your heart, is the revelation of the Lord through Himself who is present as Paramatma in my heart. That means the soul is here, the Paramatma is here. So the Paramatma is now telling the soul, hey, I'm generally wearing a peacock feather on my head. And the reason why I'm wearing this, because of this pastime, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is called revelation. So when I hear that revelation, then I understand, oh, that is the truth. Okay? The best examples of revelation. Now, let's say you have a cow, and the cow gives birth to a calf, right? You see, in just a matter of few minutes, not even hours or years, the cow has just opened its eyes. The calf has opened its eyes, and the cow is just licking the calf to clean it. You know what will happen? It'll just go and find the bottom of the mother and suck the milk. Now, who has told the calf that the milk will come, is located in this? This is your life force and this is your food. Go eat it. Okay? Someone may even show the place. It is present here. But how does someone know that you have to suck in this format for you to get the milk? That is because the intelligence to the calf is given by that Paramatma. The same thing for every living entity. The same thing for each one of us. So that's called revelation. Okay. So let's read this further. Okay. Can someone read this, this yellow and the green? Yeah.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Darsana Prabhu.
One of you. Yeah.
One
What
can pursue
proceed.
one's self-identification and feel positively that he exists. He may not feel it very abruptly, but by using a little intelligence, he can feel that he is not the body. He can feel that the hand, the leg, the hand, the hair, and the limbs are all his bodily parts and parcels. But as such, the hand, the leg, the head, etc., cannot be identified with his self. Therefore, just by using intelligence, he can distinguish and separate his self from other things that he sees. So, the natural conclusion is that the living being, either man or beast, it is the
The
seer and
seer. Is the seer
is the
means
seer.
one who's seeing the truth. Is a seer.
He is the seer and he sees besides himself all other things. So there is a difference between the seer and the seen.
Yeah.
Now,
Pause. Between the seer
okay,
and the seen. That means seen means just seeing information. Okay. Oh, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. This is black, this is green, this is blue. That is seen. Seer means understanding the reason behind its existence. Okay, that's the difference. Okay. You know this famous activity, right? Prabhupada did that. Is one of the universities where He said, he called one person and said, okay, you identify with various body parts. If you identified yourself with various body parts, then you can see these body parts are a covering for the soul for accomplishing the soul's desire. Okay? If the soul has a desire to eat jamun, the soul cannot eat by itself. It needs a body. It needs either a spiritual body or a material body. Okay? In the material world, you will not get a spiritual body, you will get a material body. So these material bodies is made up of Bhumi Rapo Nala Vayu Kammano Buddhi Revacha, Krishna says in chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita. So what does he say? This gross body is made of 5 elements, which are gross in nature. And they're also made of 3 subtle elements. With the combination of these 8 elements, the soul can accomplish its desire. Now, what's the desire example we took? It wants to eat jamu. Right? So using its intelligence, using its hands, using its legs, it may procure all the ingredients. It can prepare and take the jamu, then see it, visualize it, and eat it. But when he eats it, you see the entire desire to eat the jamun is fulfilled. Now, what is the role of Paramatma? The Paramatma ensured that it gave the intelligence so that it knows how jamun will taste. It knows how to prepare jamun. It knows where are the ingredients present. It tells the material nature also, okay, in time, place, and circumstances, these ingredients must be present. So you see, the Paramatma is the enabler. And he is telling the soul how it can accomplish. And the soul, by identifying itself with something, it uses the subtle and the gross body and accomplish its desire. Right? So that's what is explained in the next paragraph, which is highlighted in green. Right? We'll just quickly read. Yes, Prabhu, read the green.
Now, by a little use of intelligence, we can also readily agree that the living being who sees the things beyond himself by ordinary vision has no power to see or to move independently. All our ordinary actions and their perceptions depend on various forms of energy supplied to us by nature in various combinations. Our sense of perception and action, that is to say, our 5 perceptive sense, hearing, touch, sight, taste, and smell, as well as our 5 senses of action, namely hands, legs, speech, eye, organs, and reproductive organs, and also our and also Prabhu, I am unable to see. And so our 3 subtle senses, namely mind, intelligence, and ego, 13 senses in all, are supplied to us by various arrangements of gross or subtle forms of natural energy. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So now we can see what are we made up of, what is the way the role of nature is. So what we'll do is we'll now take an Excel sheet and try to draw the influence of the different elements that are acting in our body. Okay. So before that, I want to share one sloka. Yeah, this is the sloka. Okay. See, this sloka is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.10.32. Okay. Now see this sloka. Rigyamanaistvam agrahyo vikarai prakritaigunai kona iharahati vijnatum praksiddhim guna samvritaha. O Lord, you exist before creation. Therefore, you who trapped by a body of material qualities in material world cannot understand you. Okay. This is an important sloka. Ata Krishna namadi na bhavet grihyam indriyai sevonmukhe jivvado swayam eva spurati ada. This is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Now what does it say? It says, see here, it's a very beautiful explanation. Krishna name, attributes and form are absolute truth, existing before creation. Okay. Therefore, how those who are created later on, for example, you just take an example of your father and mother. Father and myself, right? My father existed before me. But after being born later on, maybe after 30, 40 years of my father's birth, that I can understand my father just by my sense perception, just by seeing him, how can I understand what he is? Just by seeing him, how can I understand what are his activities? It's not possible. That's what it says. So therefore, those who are created, that is, who entrapped in bodies like material elements, like us, the soul, can understand Krishna perfectly. It's not possible. So then how they can understand Krishna perfectly is when my father tells me, hey, my son, see, this is what I am. This is what my activities are. This is my strength and this is my weakness. This is my likes and dislikes. Then I will know more about my father. I cannot, by seeing him, I can understand these things because I was created later on. So similarly, the truth about the Lord can be understood. How? Sevan mukhehi jivvadav swayam he spurati adha. Krishna reveals himself to those engaged in devotional service. When will my father speak about him, personal details to him? When I behave with him in a very respectful manner, in a very close manner, then he will have the confidence in me, then he will reveal the truth. If I am very rebellious with my father, right? My father will say, get lost. You're always fighting with me. I don't want to see you. I don't want to have a relationship with you. You find your own way. Come on. You have born to me. I'll give you so much of wealth to you. This is part of my wealth. You live separately. Don't come in front of me. My father will chastise me and throw me out because I'm rebellious. Now, let's say I'm not rebellious. I'm very devoted to him. I'm very respectful, service oriented to him. Then what does he do? Rather than giving a portion of his opulence to me, he'll say, take part in my opulence, in my entire opulence. Live with me, and I will share all my opulence to you. That's what my father would do, right? The same thing the Lord is also doing, right? And that is the engagement of devotional service causes. So, this is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 8.55. The Lord himself says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Even the descriptions of Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam sometimes misunderstood by less intelligent men with a poor fund of knowledge. Therefore, the best course by which to know him is to engage oneself in pure devotional activities. What is pure devotional activities? Pure devotional activities are activities that are done to please the Lord. If an activity does not please the Lord, it is not considered devotion. So, devotion means an activity that pleases the Lord. Okay, so that's the first understanding. What is pure devotion service? Pure devotion service is activities that pleases the Lord, but does not carry an agenda on the platform of karma jnana. That is called pure devotion service, right? What is karma jnana? That means, Lord, I'm doing this activity. Hopefully, my life will be better. There is some called as doing and return benefit. That is on the karma platform. On the jnana platform, what does it mean? Oh Lord, I'm doing it. Maybe you are like this. Maybe you're like that. Maybe I want to do that. Maybe that is correct. I want to do that also. So, like that, you see, very highly speculative because of different directions of knowledge. So, purity doesn't exist in these cases. The purity exists in an activity that's done for the pleasure of the Lord. That activity is unmotivated on the material platform. It is only motivational on the spiritual platform for what? For the pleasure of the Lord and selfless attitude. That's called pure devotion service. So that's what Prabhupada says in Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. So if from the material platform one could understand Krishna, what is our material platform? We are being born here, we've done university education, we wear material dresses, we eat food, use our senses for material activities, but we redirected ourselves from all the material activities we were doing. Oh, I'm an engineer, I want to construct this building. I'm a doctor, I want to construct hospitals and do these things. Material platform. Now, I'm using the same vision of mine to change the vision to another platform, which is Krishna's platform. Okay, so then one could understand by seeing Krishna within the material world, but that is not possible because everything is resting on Krishna and everything is Krishna, but is not realized by persons on the material plane. So, transcending, that is moving from material platform to spiritual platform, can happen by Shravanam and Kirtanam. by performance of devotion service. But the beginning is Shravanam Kirtan. That's what it says. Okay? So now let's go to this sloka back here. Okay. So, yeah. So can someone read from here? There are some from here, the green portion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Yeah, one of you. There are some intelligent, less intelligent.
There are some less intelligent arguments that matter develops the power of seeing and moving as certain organic development. But such an argument cannot be accepted because there is no experimental evidence that matter has anywhere produced a living entity. Hare Krishna.
So what does it mean? A living entity is a life force. Matter is not a life force. So a non-living entity, how can it produce a living entity? Is there an example? Can you prove that point anywhere? It's not there. If it does not exist, then what is the experimental evidence you have to prove that point? That's what it says. Okay. Now we'll come to the last part of this understanding in this paragraph. So what we'll do is we'll do an exercise here. I'll just take an Excel sheet. Let's share this Excel sheet here. Yes. Okay. Okay, so now let's see here. I'm going to write step by step. Okay, so this is Paramatma. Okay, so this too is in the body. So on the body, there are two people who are existing, which is Paramatma and the soul. Okay. Now, the soul has two options. What are the two options it has got? It has got material desire. It's called spiritual desire. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji?
Can you make it a little bigger, Prabhu, the words?
Yes, I'll make it. So, good, Mataji, now?
Fine, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is the body here. Okay, so the body consists of Paramatma, the super soul, and the soul. The soul has material desire or spiritual desire. Now let's see what does material desire means. Okay, the soul identifies itself with something. Now, for example, I'm a person, I identify myself with clinical aspects, pharmaceutical aspects. That means I identify myself with the area of medicine. Okay. So, what I identify, I go in that path of my life. Right? So, that is called as ego. So, ego is the soul is identifying myself with something. Right? If I identify myself like a sportsman, right? Oh, that's my desire. Like a sportsman, I want to play football or to play soccer. I want to be like what, Messi, something like that. So, that is my identification. That's what I thought my life should be, my desire should be, my areas of interest to be. And that becomes your ego. Okay. Now, that ego, what does it do? It makes my intelligence to get directed to collect information connected to what I want to identify with. So, in the example that I took, the ego, I took the sportsman. So, ego identified with sports. So, the ego tells the intelligence, build your knowledge around sports. Okay. So, the intelligence is here. It says, build your knowledge sports. First, the soul took the material path and it identified itself with sports. That's your ego. Then it said build your knowledge around intelligence. Once it builds the knowledge around sports or soccer for that matter, I'll say soccer more specifically here. Once it builds knowledge on soccer, then what does it do? It directs the mind for soccer related activities. So this is mind. So mind has been now told, hey, wherever soccer matches are going on, collect information, let's go, participate in that match, maybe get trained on how to play soccer, right? So intelligence is directing the mind for soccer related activities. So the mind is very vigilant. It tells the senses, it tells the eyes, it tells the ears, it tells the hands, go search and enjoy soccer related material object for satisfaction. So the mind uses or engages the senses. Okay, so these are the senses. And senses for time immemorial, it keeps on doing this material activities because it identifies around that activity of sports. This is called as material life. Because the soul is very powerful, it can have unlimited desire in one particular field. No, it can have unlimited desires in many, many such field of activities that is material in nature. So hence, just like the false ego identified with sports, it could also partly identify with music. It could finally identify with other activities of traveling. It can do many things. All these things become material. In this platform, one may convince himself saying that, okay, I'm doing good things, I'm not cheating, I'm not telling lies, I'm helping others, I'm doing all these things. But all activities become material. Now, when it becomes all the activities material, the soul does not interact with the Paramatma. So, for example, let's see if I can know this shape. Okay. So, I'll put the shape. So, this is the interaction between the soul and Paramatma. Oh God, it's so big. Okay. Are you able to sort of identify my arrow?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
So,
Yes,
the
sir.
interaction between soul and Paramatma, this interaction, this is called, I'll call it as material interaction here. Okay, we'll say here. Material interaction. Okay. So, material interaction are what? Fruitative. They're fruitative in nature. That means there is a enjoyment in nature. I'm getting a benefit out of my activities and I want to enjoy. Okay. So the Paramatma fulfills the super soul, fulfills the desire, and notes and writes down the karmic reactions out of this activity. That's all. He is traveling a notepad with us. The Paramatma has a notepad. Whatever we desire in the material plane, he'll just simply write it down and says, okay, this has caused so much of karma for you. I'm awarding this to you. That is your real asti, not what your father gives this property or that property. That is the real asset you're carrying. And how much it goes life after life after life. Okay, so this is how material desire works. Okay, now let's look at spiritual desire. So, since this material desire is not revealing the true nature of the ego or the soul, which is called as identification of the soul, that ego becomes false ego. It becomes false. And hence it is called false ego. Clear? So, what is it false ego? For example, I studied my engineering and I'm supposed to be a electronics engineer. Okay. But what I'm doing, I am doing some pharmacy job. See, I studied electronic engineering, but I'm doing a pharmacy job. So what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm not doing, but I'm doing something else. Hence, my activities are false. So similarly, the soul is supposed to be designed to do something, that is serve the Lord, but rather than it is doing something else. And hence the identification of the soul, thinking that what I am, is false. Hence it's called false ego. Okay? Is that clear now? Any doubts so far?
Hare
Clear,
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhu, could you
No,
please
Prabhu.
explain that false ego, Prabhu, is what you told just now.
So false ego means, let's see how it is. Okay. How do I explain? I thought I explained the most simplest manner. Okay, I joined a company. Okay. I am supposed to be a sales agent in the company. That means I'm in the lowest level in that company. But right from day one, when I went, I thought, oh, I am not the sales employee, but I'm actually the MD of this company. And I started to behave like how a MD of a company behave. Okay. So even though I am only a salesperson, but I behaving like an MD of a person. For whatever reason it may be, maybe a desire or something else. So that is called false identification of myself. In the current context, the soul is created to serve the Lord. The Lord created his body expanded so that his body can serve him. Just like my hands are serving me, my eyes are serving me. The Lord's part and parcel, the parts of the body was created by the Lord to serve him. But what did the soul do? He said, I won't serve you. I know you created me, but I won't serve you. I will serve myself. So serving himself for his own enjoyment is false identification of the soul. If you truly identified, oh, I am a servant, I am not a master of my own enjoyer, I am just a servant. Oh, my duty is to serve you, Krishna, I'll just serve you. That is true identification. Hence, in the spiritual platform, the ego becomes true. That means the soul understands who it is, what is its duty. Okay, so now there's a classical example of a devotee, a sadhu. What does a sadhu do? What are sadhu's activities? Sadhu simply chants the name, calls up for Krishna for everything. He's always under the shelter of Krishna. He keeps on readings about the pastimes, activities of the Lord. Wherever there is Krishna Katha, he'll run. His legs are engaged in running to the place. His hands are engaged in serving the devotees. His mind, his consciousness, eyes, ears, everything is engaged in service of the Lord. So you see, he identifies himself along the deity, along the Vaishnavas, along the literature that are talking about topics of the Lord. So now what does he do? This ego also builds the intelligence. But what intelligence? To realize his master, Lord Krishna. So that is his intelligence. In the previous case of material intelligence, his intelligence was built to associate with football as a sports because that's what was his desire. It was wrong. Now, the true desire, what happens? Is to realize an association with the Lord. Anything about the Lord, I want to associate. Okay, then what does the intelligence do? It directs the mind to do devotional activities because that is his original nature. So he's telling the mind, hey, do activities. Then the mind, what does it do? Mind will not go for soccer now. The mind will not go for music. Mind will go to do activities that are devotional in nature. Senses are getting engaged accordingly, and all activities become spiritual. Now let's see what's the role of the Paramatma here. In the earlier stage, the Paramatma said, okay, you wanted to enjoy this, okay, I will write it down. But you want to know, you desire, right? So what I'll do, I'll somehow make arrangements, I'll tell the material nature. He wants to eat apple, so provide him an apple. So what does the material nature do? Somehow it will show you a path. Either it will show you a vendor who's selling apple, or it will show you a tree which is producing apple, where you'll just pluck it and eat it. So the Paramatma through nature is fulfilling the desire of yours by showing what you want. Now, the soul is understood his true ego. Then what does he do? He is now telling Paramatma, oh Paramatma, I know you're the cause of all causes. Okay? You're the cause of all causes, and my existence is also your cause. So, please give me an opportunity where I can hear from you. I can serve you. I can do something that pleases you. Then what does the Paramatma do? Paramatma shows the direction for his liberation. Liberation. What liberation? Liberation from this material covering. You don't need this material covering anymore because you come to me. You want to know me. So I will reveal my truth to you. So that's called revelation. So the Lord is revealing the truth to the soul, and the soul is searching for his liberation. Once the soul begins that path, first is the knowledge, acquisition of knowledge. Then second is execution of knowledge. Once a soul realizes this path, then it says, I want to practice. Practice is service. So devotional service is an activity done out of one's realization for the Lord. Devotional service is not done for some material benefit. If devotional service is done for material benefit, then it does not come under spiritual desire, it comes under material desire. Maybe you can call it as purified form of material desire. So you have to understand that all our intelligence is developed based on how we associate ourselves, identify ourselves with. If the soul, that is I, if I understand that, oh, I am a devotee of the Lord, my duty is to perform worship and devotional service, then all my intelligence, my mind will get directed towards that. If I don't identify towards this, if I identify myself with something else, then all my intelligence and my direction will be towards that. So that is the point that you need to conclude.
Prabhuji, I have one doubt here.
Yes, Prabhu.
So subtle elements, mindfulness of the subtle elements is the key, right, Prabhuji? That's even involved in the bhakti yoga. So the mindfulness is a key so that my mind is not diverting to other activities, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah, correct.
So if that is the case, even the dhyana yoga, that is also mindfulness of doing that. How do we differentiate then bhakti yoga with the dhyana yoga, Prabhuji?
See, in dhyana yoga, even though you are trying to do something on the spiritual plane, your identification is wrong. What are you identifying yourself as? You are identifying that Krishna is formless, Krishna is present everywhere. So I want to identify myself into merging with the Lord. Hence, I'm practicing dhyana yoga. But in bhakti yoga, what I'm understanding, achinta beda abeda tattva. What does that mean? I am part and parcel of the Lord. What is part and parcel of the Lord? It does not mean I have to stick to the body of the Lord. No. I am sheltered under the Lord. Okay? Lord created me to serve Him, so my duty is to serve Him. How will you serve a formless person? For example, can I serve air? Can I serve white light? Can I serve? Can I serve smell? Can I serve smell? Can I serve sound? I cannot.
Yeah.
So if the Lord is formless, the word service does not exist. So since the service attitude exists, that means Lord has a form. I can serve a person. I cannot serve air.
So the
So this is
basic
what he
intention is totally
identifies.
different.
This is what he identifies. Then he says, "Oh Lord, I know because of my impure nature and my past rebellious activity, you're not physically present. You're upset with me. But you're very merciful to me. You have sent one object called Archa Vigraha, which has the same rupa as yours, same color as yours. So what I'll do? I'll wash my sins by serving that form of that Lord." But Lord, when he sees, okay, I think you are reformed, I think you are no more polluted, then the Lord reveals the truth to him. The best example is Dhruva Maharaj. The best example is the Prachetas. Dhruva Maharaj was on the material platform. He wanted power, he wanted the position, he wanted chair of his father. He went and meditated. The Lord gave him the option. Are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. The Lord revealed. Then become great devotee. The Prachetas, 10,000 years, they want to meditate to attain certain positions and powers, but the Lord revealed. Then, so the point is, by attitude of service, by attitude of proper identification of our constitutional position, and proper understanding about the Lord, we can perfect our life. So, in order to understand the Lord, in properly understanding our position, we need knowledge, literature, books. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhu, the theoretical aspect of Srimad Bhagavatam is difficult to understand. Yes, I'll have a master. For example, when you go to physics class in your college, physics was not discovered by your master, your professor. Your professor is only explaining how physical interaction happens. So similarly, the Acharya is not creating Srimad Bhagavatam. He is only explaining the Srimad Bhagavatam to you. Srimad Bhagavatam was once spoken by the Lord himself to Brahmaji. So, revelation of truth comes from the Lord, and all our acharyas, the senior Vaishnavas, all of them are around us. They're helping us to understand that literature. And hence we are practicing. So, it is the causeless mercy of the Lord comes to us through directions. Then we say, I can practice bhakti yoga. Otherwise, you'll practice wrong forms of yoga and end with wrong destinations. That is the fact.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, correct me if I'm wrong, this is my understanding based on the explanations given, Prabhu. So, Paramatma gives the intelligence to the soul to identify itself with a respective aspect so that
No. Paramatma doesn't give the intelligence. The soul, out of its own desire, identifies itself with what it wants to accomplish its desire.
Correct.
The Paramatma gives the knowledge only when the soul identifies its constitutional position that it is servant of Lord Krishna.
Okay. Yes, Prabhu. So based
In
on
the material plane, the Paramatma just fulfills your desire. In the spiritual plane, Paramatma gives you direction to attain his lotus feet.
Okay. So in the material plane, as I understand, is that, if the soul identifies itself with the body, it is called as body conscious. If it identifies with the dress, it is called dress conscious. If it identifies with the beauty, it is called beauty conscious.
Yeah, whatever. If it
identifies
identifies it as servant of Krishna, it's called
Krishna conscious.
Yes.
Is correct, Prabhu?
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I have understood like this, Prabhu. If I am wrong, kindly correct. Prabhu, I have understood the constitutional position. So I am a servant of the Lord. I am in servitude. So that is true ego.
Yes.
And whenever I feel that I am whatever I am, because of me, because of my intelligence, because of this body I am doing, I was successful. That is called false ego.
False ego, correct.
That is false ego.
Kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvas.
That is called false ego, right, Prabhu?
Correct.
Okay, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay, we'll stop questions here because I have to finish. We are already 6:52. We have to finish at least 2 more slokas for the day. We'll take up questions at the end. Okay. Now we'll read. We can easily attain to true spiritual conception by recognizing the super self Paramatma to be our friend and guide, and by dovetailing our intelligence with the super soul, intelligence of Paramatma. See, dovetailing, that means connecting with intelligence of Paramatma. The super self and the individual self are both spirit, and therefore the super self and the individual self are both qualitatively one and distinct from matter. Qualitatively one in what? Both of them are completely spiritual in nature and they are separate from matter. Matter does not have the intelligence to understand spirit. That's the point. But the super self is Paramatma, and the individual cannot be on equal level. Why? Because Paramatma is very powerful. Paramatma is that Lord who is expanded into unlimited quantities and present everywhere. But the soul cannot expand to that level. Why? Because soul is very small in nature. Quantitatively is very small. He cannot expand so much. But the Lord Krishna, he can expand into unlimited infinite quantities. And that is the difference. Okay? The individual is completely dependent on the direction of the super self because every step the individual self follows the direction of the super self in the matter of seeing, hearing, thinking, feeling, willing, etc. This is what a devotee will do. So the super self will keep on outpouring itself. Super self here refers to Paramatma. They keep on outpouring itself with Krishna Bhakti. The more and more we connect to Krishna Bhakti, you will see that we are fully satisfied. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he heard the name of Krishna, immediately rolled on the floor. Says, that is the revelation that one will reach. He will completely come out of bodily consciousness. And that's the point you have to understand. Okay.
Prabhu, in this purport, it said here, Prabhu, but the super self and the individual self cannot be on an equal level because the super self gives the direction or supplies intelligence.
Yes. Spiritual intelligence. What intelligence? How to serve your Lord. What are you? You're not belong to this world. You belong to the spiritual world. Do you know your relationship with Krishna? So it gives all those intelligence. And it tells, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upayanti. Staying in the heart of one individual, I give him all the knowledge, direction, how to reach me, how to get out of this world. That's what the intelligence gives.
Yes, thank
you. Okay? And how? Direction of super matter of seeing, hearing, thinking, feeling, willing, everything it gives. It gives all the direction. So this direction of the super soul can reach us only when we come to the platform of Krishna consciousness. If you're not in the platform of Krishna consciousness, the super soul is just a witness. What do you want, man? You want to drink alcohol? Okay, I have written down. This is your karmic reaction. I will supply alcohol. That's it. It doesn't do anything else. It's just silent. That is the difference between a person who's materially inflected and a person who's spiritually inflected. Okay, you see the role of Paramatma. He is a mentor, director, if you want him. He is just an order supplier, if you want him so. That's the point here. Okay? Okay. So let's mug up the sloka 2.36. Very brilliant sloka. Tasmat sarvatmana rajan harihi sarvatra sarvada shrotavya kirtitavyascha smartavyo bhagavan nirnam. O king, it is therefore essential that every human being hear about what? Glorify, remember the Supreme. The personality Godhead who is present all the time and everywhere. Sarvatra Sarvada. At all times, at all places, he is present. So if Krishna is present at all times, at all places, devotional service, there is no end, there is no beginning. It has to go on eternally at all points in time. That is the point. Right? So in the starting of the sloka, Tasmat Bharata Sharvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Harihi Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Chatabhayam. So same thing. Sukadeva Goswami began with that sloka. He talked about therefore the Lord who is present everywhere. He is the worshipper, one who hears, who chants his name. All fear, everything goes away and he becomes completely transcendental. That's what he started sloka, that sloka. Now he is ending the same sloka. He says, O king, therefore essential for every human being to again here glorify, remember the personal Godhead who is always present, who is present everywhere. See how Sukadeva Goswami began, how he ends the Bhakti Yoga process. Okay, so it's very important. This is the most important paragraph which I have highlighted here. Without hearing sufficiently and properly, hearing sufficiently and properly, right? Now, what is hearing and sufficiently? For example, if I hear about Krishna, yes, I'll know about Krishna. How much should I hear? Prabhu, is 10 hours okay, Prabhu, to hear about Krishna? Yeah, 10 hours is enough if Krishna was very limited in nature. But Krishna is unlimited. So how much you should hear? Unlimited. Right? Yesterday in Chaitanya Charitamrita we were reading. Right? The Anantadev is trying to recite the pastimes of Gauranga Mahaprabhu and is trying to recite non-repeatedly, and it's not ending at all. We recited that. So, the activities, the form, the attributes, the pastimes of the Lord is unlimited. Our hearing also should be unlimited. That should be the goal of life. And for hearing only, all Vedic literatures are there. The Vedic literatures are compiled just for our benefit to hear. Compiled by authors like Vyasadeva, who is powerful incarnation of the God. That means Lord himself comes in the form of a human being and then tells, hey, this is what, it is the truth. Come on, take it, read it. Right? Human beings gives a hear about Godhead, then what happens? He becomes a victim of hearing rubbish transmission by man-made machines. That means when I hear about God conscious, I stop hearing about man-made nonsense, which is rubbish, no use. Prabhupada gives a beautiful example. One person said, oh Prabhupada, people are trying to go to the moon. Prabhupada said, whether you go to the moon or whether you don't go to the moon, how does it matter? Can you solve your birth, death, old age and disease? You cannot. Then why you want to go to the moon? He said, oh Prabhupada, they put the flag in the moon. Now how does it matter? First of all, from earth I can't see your flag. Even if I can see the flag, how does it matter? Whether the flag is there or not, how does it matter in my life? It does not matter. So, Prabhupada says, don't go after this material allurements. Very, very important. So, he says, all these things are rubbish. Don't waste your time. Okay? So, now let's go to the last sloka, which is the most important of the last sloka. Okay, after this last sloka, we will also talk about chapter 2.3. What are we going to learn? So I'm going to give an assignment. I want you to learn something and come because it will be very helpful in the next class. Okay, 2.37. Pibanti ye bhagavata atmanasatam katamritam shravanaputeshu samritam punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam brajanti tacharana sharoruhantikam. Very beautiful sloka this is. Right? So here, Sukadeva Goswami is concluding, what is the solution? What is the solution? One must drink like somaras. You drink it with your mouth for enjoyment. But now you have to drink for the nourishment of the soul. What do you drink? You have to drink the kathamrita of the Lord through your ears. Pibanti. Pibati Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, those who drink through the oral reception is to hear. So drink means you are going to, flood your consciousness with hearing Krishna Katha. Fully filled with nectar and message of Lord Krishna and the beloved devotees. That means Krishna and devotees of Lord. Okay. Purify the polluted aim of life known as material enjoyment and thus go back to Godhead. To the lotus feet of Him, the personality of Godhead. So in the Ashtanga Yoga also we said, after Pratyahara, if it is not purified, you cannot get into realization of Paramatma. So you have to go into deeper and deeper realization. Still no realization, again go. That means purification of the mind from material consciousness must be adopted. The same thing. Here the purification of the mind can be adopted by Shravanam and Kirtanam. Shravanam about the beauties of the glories of the Lord. There is no end to it. Ante Narayana Smritihi. Just keep remembering about Lord Narayana. That is the only way the mind will get purified. Right? When we purify life, what is the destination for us? Go back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of Him, the personality of Godhead. Right? So this is the most important message. Let's all mug up the sloka very nicely. I'll read the sloka once again. Pibanti ye Bhagavata Atmanas Satam Katamritam Shravana Puteshu Samritam Punanti te Vishaya Vidushita Shayam Prajanti Tacharana Sharoruhantikam. Right? So mug up the sloka, and one who practices Bhakti Yoga with understanding the real underlying message of Srimad Bhagavatam will definitely get the place. In fact, if you look at this title, thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purport of second canto, second chapter, Srimad, entitled The Lord in the Heart. One will realize the Lord in the heart, the Paramatma. Then He will give the direction for us to go home. Okay? So, we'll spend about 5 minutes here to understand the next chapter, 3.1. So now you see, different aspect of yoga process is covered, and Sukadeva Goswami concluded that Bhakti Yoga is the solution. And how do you do Bhakti Yoga? He said, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, all the 9 process of devotion service. Okay, very good. Now comes the next challenge. The devotees are asking, is Bhakti Yoga means only on to Lord Narayana or Krishna, or can I also worship demigods? They are also lords, right? Because you say, oh Lord. We have Lord Shiva, we have Lord Brahma, we have many other Devatas, Lord Indra. So, what if I worship them? Is it wrong? Why? Because in the Virata Rupa, if you see, the Lord showed all the demigods as part and parcel of Him. So then if they are part and parcel of Him, what is wrong me in worshipping Kartikeya? So hence, Sukadeva Goswami is beginning entitled Pure Devotion Service. Now he's talking pure devotion service. That means he talked about devotion service, now he's talking pure devotion service. The change in the heart. He is going to differentiate between what is the glory of demigod worship versus the glory of worship of Supreme Personality of God. So, in the first 9 slokas, okay, in the first 9 slokas, you see, he is going to talk about what happens when I worship a particular demigod, right? So, for example, if you see here, one who desires powerful sex should worship heavenly King Indra, and one who desires good progeny should worship the great progenitors called Prajapatis. One who desires good fortune should worship Durga Devi. So like that, Prabhupada goes on listing all the benefits of demigod worship, right? You should read this. Very, very interesting, right? And when we do this demigod worship, what happens to us? What happens to one who does demigod worship? Is demigod worship also called as devotees or non-devotees? So all those things we will try to analyze in the next chapter. But I want you to read from, actually there are, if you read the second sloka itself, this has got 5 slokas, 6 slokas built into it, 2 to 7. Then I want you to read sloka number 8, okay? Then I want you to read sloka number 9, right? So read the purports and we will discuss about this in the next class. So Sukadeva Goswami up to sloka number 9, he is going to talk about what are the benefits and consequences of demigod worship? What happens in one's life, right? Sometimes, when devotees asked about, what is demigod worship, why it is wrong and things like to Srila Prabhupada, he used to answer that There are many, aspects of knowledge, right? Different shastras that are existing. If you're able to see them as part and parcel of Krishna, engage in devotion service accordingly, but not surrender to them. He said it's okay, right? So, for example, in the last days of Prabhupada's life, Prabhupada did consult astrologers, right? It is there documented in as a Leelamrita also. Now, one may get confused that, why Prabhupada consulted astrology? Did he think that astrology is more powerful than whatever bhakti yoga is he practicing? So that's not the conclusion, right? We should desire to come under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We shall not desire to come under control of any of these elements that are material in nature. That means not dependent on them. A presence or absence of a material element should not change or disturb our life. That's what Prabhupada concluded. Okay, by knowing something about astrology, I may know some direction. Okay, these are the things that are going to happen as sequence of events. That's it. Make your adjustments accordingly, but practice bhakti. But what you should not do is to surrender to the elements of astrology and keep on doing other aspects of demigod worship, other aspects of adjustments or yajna or prayachita, whatever it may be, and go into that line. That's what Prabhupada said no. Okay? So, your focus and your goal should be to the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. And if a particular activity on the material plane enhances that, it is good practice of devotion. If a particular activity on the material plane does not enhance that but goes and deviates you into a different direction, then that direction must be completely cut off. That is what is the conclusion. So hence Sukadeva Goswami is talking about the first 9 slokas of demigod worship, what you do, what you get, and what are the consequences, and what happens to one. And he gives the best example of Ravana. Ravana did worship of Lord Shiva, and he wanted great powers. But what was his destiny? Ramchandra came and killed him. So, demigod worship, you can understand, is not topmost, and it is very temporary. Once this body is over, all the worship of demigod that we did is also over. So, our truth is eternality. Our truth is not temporary. That's what you will understand. Right? So, when you read this, that's what you understand. Then, subsequently, if demigod worship is wrong, then how beneficial is worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Then he's talking about pure devotion service. So that you will see from sloka 10 onwards. So you read till sloka 9, and we will, in the next class, we will conclude with sloka 10, 12, 11, 12, saying that the supremacy of Bhakti Yoga, that means worship of Krishna, compared to worship of any other demigods. Okay? Sounds interesting?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this is one of the shortest chapter in the second canto. Okay, it has got only 25 slokas. So in about 2 classes we should finish this entire chapter. Okay. So now we'll take up any questions. I hope today's class was informative and understandable from our real position. Okay. So it's
And
all
just
about
informative.
whom you identify with and how do you make a change.
Today's class is in a different plane altogether.
Okay.
It cleared a lot of air of actually confusion and so much benefited today. Thank you so much.
Very. If it can reflect on your practices, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu.
Hare
As
Krishna.
you were explaining, I'm feeling even just to go on doing service to the Lord and even desiring Krishna Prema is also kind of selfishness. I'm feeling like that. Prabhu.
So now you're coming into the transcendental shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
And Prabhu, you said after seeing astrology make adjustments. So that also I'm feeling why we should make adjustments, Prabhu. Let's just leave it to the Lord and
Yeah, that is
whatever
perfect.
we know.
But why I made the comment is people still sometimes do demigod worship. Sometimes do this Vastu Shastra, sometimes do the astrology, sometimes do Ayurveda, this thing. So like that, they keep on doing many things. But I'm trying to conclude that okay, you're doing that. I will not discourage you, but you see, you draw a line.
Yes, Prabhu. Now I understood. Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes,
And
Prabhu.
secondly, you should see, hey, by doing this astrological analysis, does it help my bhakti yoga? Do it.
Oh, okay. Oh,
If it's
Prabhu.
not going to, if it's not going to do that, then why you won't even practice it?
How astrology helps in Bhakti Yoga, Prabhu?
So now let's say, okay, once time period is changing, and then there is going to be difficulty from health point of view or something like that. Okay, so now you may say, oh, okay, now the next 2 years I may have bad health according to my astrology. Okay, then what you can do, you can make precautions now in your day-to-day activities, things that you eat, the kind of you may not doing walking and exercise, you may start doing it. So astrology has helped me to change my lifestyle a little bit. But why am I doing this lifestyle? It's not that I want to live for 1,000 years. No, so that my service to Krishna is uninterrupted.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay.
If the goal is very clear, yes, go adopt it. Now, let's say the goal is not clear. Service to Krishna is not clear as a goal. So then what I'll do astrology. Then I'll say, oh, next 2 years is not good time, no, for me, health-wise. Then apart from making some health adjustments, I will go do Prashchita. I'll do maybe Chandi Homa. I'll do Dhanvantri Homa. I'll do this, I'll do that. I'll do many other things. That means, you see, instead of practicing Krishna consciousness, I went in a different direction of protecting my health from the dangers of my bad time for next 2 years. So purpose is lost. That's the point here.
Yes, Prabhu. Understood, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So our active should enhance Anukulyasya. Okay. Yes, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Dandavat.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams. Prabhu, when you were saying about the senses controlling in the material world, the senses, we just become slave to the senses. In the spiritual world, the senses are we control the senses, and Krishna being Rishikesha, he will control our senses and he will direct us. Am I correct, Prabhu? Hare Krishna, can you hear me, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
We can hear you, Mataji. I think Prabhu has some problem.
Prabhu, some internet problem, Mataji.
Okay.
Prabhu's left. He'll join back.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah. Sorry, there was a power fluctuation. Rasraj Prabhu, how many of them took a quiz in the last event, Prabhu, last time?
1 minute, I'll check.
Yeah. So we want all of you to take the quiz, and I want all of you to answer it and then try to score 100%. Right? So there's no gradation, but you score 100% because 100% will tell you, okay, Prabhu, there's some areas I didn't understand. Now I got corrected. So that should be the goal. Okay.
The 31.
So we want all of you to
30
take
devotees.
30 devotees. So others who did not get inspired to take the quiz, so we want you to take the quiz. So we have your names who took the quiz, and we also have the names who didn't take the quiz. So it is not good. So please take the quiz. We want all the 62 registered participants to take the quiz. Okay. And please take the quiz on time. So now this chapter is over. We'll have our IT and training team to publish the quiz. So please answer them. It won't take much time, but every aspect of your sincerity is watched by your Guru and Krishna. Okay?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I was asking a question, that power went off. Can I just one minute I can ask you, Prabhu, one clarification?
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhu, in the class we were telling about the senses. In the material world, the senses, we are under their control. So we are Goswamis. Godasas. So when you change your consciousness and become spiritual, the senses are, we are controlling the senses, and we become Goswamis. And we also, Hrishikesha, Lord being called Hrishikesha, he will control our senses, he will direct our senses. Am I correct, Prabhu?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, Prabhu. I just wanted to confirm this. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Dandavat pranam.
Any other questions? Are we done? Okay, thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande, Pancha
Hari Hari.
Sendubhyo vacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Om Tat Sat.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranam.
Prabhu, Dandavat pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
pranam,
Prabhu,
Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Prabhu, Dandavat
Prabhu.
pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Dandavat
Krishna Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat pranam. Prabhu, the Excel sheet explanation was very good. We could able to understand much deeper about the spiritual desires supposed to come into our mind. So kindly share that Excel sheet, Prabhu, to understand it more deeper.
I'll put it in the group.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhu.